NASCAR turns its back on Donald Trump, preferring to side with the illegal aliens in helping to kill this country. The University of New Hampshire has compiled a list of problematic words that includes American, mother, and healthy. An international expert declares that the Iran deal underscores the weakness of the United States, and it may be time to call in Kolchak the Night Stalker. Western society is having the life drained out of it by an incubus. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook, and on YouTube, and in the book, Real Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524. My friends, that's right. I said incubus. I'm not even sure you can say that on the radio. And I said it. From Jihad Watch, The Nightmare by Henry Fuseli, lived in 1781, is a visual metaphor for the incubus of Islam sitting astride the paralyzed, sleeping Europa. Europe, Britain, and the West are pinned down by sleep paralysis beneath the weight of Islam and Muslim immigration. Sometimes an image, a metaphor, is much more effective at presenting truth than even the most persuasive argument or laying out of facts. The nightmare is such an image. Europeans may still have some dim collective memory of the Muslim conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, Spain, in the early 8th century, of Islam's nearly successful colonization of the rest of Western Europe, Gaul, etc., of centuries of Muslim raids on Italy, on Muslim piracy and dominance in the Mediterranean Sea, of repeated Muslim attempts to invade Europe through the Balkans, and of the eventual fall of Constantinople in 1453, and of Turkish crimes against the Greeks in the 18th and 19th centuries, and the Armenian genocide in the early 20th. Then there are the great providential battles and movements which halted, turned back, or expelled the Muslim invaders from the West. Charles Martel, the Hammer, in his victory in the Battle of Tours, 732. The Reconquista of Spain, the valiant self-sacrifice of Tsar Martyr Lazar and the Serbs at the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. And the famous defense of Europe against the Ottoman Muslims at the gates of Vienna in 1683. Yet today's Europe seems completely moribund, ignoring both its own history and the history of Islamic expansion. It's as if Europe and her sisters, England, America, Canada, Australia, etc., suffer from a nightmarish sleep paralysis like helpless maidens of old, the Islamic incubus pinning her down and completely sapping her will and strength to resist. The British have all but surrendered already, turning a blind eye to Muslim rape gangs preying on thousands of British girls, trampling on freedom of speech by shutting down criticism of Islam, and advancing Sharia courts and Islamic finance systems. The realm which gave us the Magna Carta is behaving as if she may voluntarily raise the black flag of jihad over Buckingham Palace, a final token act of appeasement as the Islamic crocodile gnaws on England's extremities. The metaphor of the demonic incubus, Islam, preying on the paralyzed sleeper, Europa, is hardly a stretch, as this particular demon was believed to engage in sexual activity with its victim, trying to foster a hybrid human-demon child, as if unable to do that, then to bring about madness, demon possession, sickness, and ultimately death to its host. Does this not describe the horrific nightmare being played out in cities across Europe and England? Muslim immigration, the incubus, literally penetrates Western societies, the sleeping victim, creating hostile alien enclaves which begin in embryonic form but eventually give birth to hellish Sharia no-go zones. By the time the somnambulant host begins to awaken, it's been driven nearly mad from its inner conflict between the liberal freedoms and its weakened impulse to defend itself. A quick survey of the evil, supremacist behavior of Muslim populations in France, Sweden, Denmark, et al. Bear witness to this plague. Quote, my friends, this business about an incubus is only a metaphor, but it's a damn good metaphor. Because England, the rest of Europe, and America, and Canada, and Israel are all asleep at the wheel, as if in the midst of a paralysis, letting this demon, this incubus, suck the life out of it and leaving it ruined and destroyed. It is a perfect metaphor. And I urge you to go online and read this piece, because it's happening to you and your children and your grandchildren. It affects you personally. So switch off the reality show or the sitcom or the sports event. Go online and learn about the demon that is literally sucking the life out of you and your children's future. Item from Breitbart. After Catherine Steinle was allegedly gunned down by illegal alien Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez on July 1, GOP presidential hopeful Donald Trump said the heinous act brought into focus once more the need to build a wall to seal our southern border. NASCAR responded to the policy proposal by cutting ties with Trump, saying it will no longer use, quote, the Trump National Doral Miami Resort for its postseason award banquets, unquote. Breitbart News previously reported Sanchez had already been deported 5 times and had 7 felonies on his record, but the immigration stance of President Obama, Governor Jerry Brown of California, California Attorney General Kamala Harris, and even San Francisco County Sheriff Ross Karimi made it possible for him to be in the country and sadly on San Francisco's Pier 14 on that Wednesday when Steinle was killed. Unquote. My friends, I have to level with you. I have never been a NASCAR fan. I just can't see the sense of watching cars make the same left turn for 2 or 3 hours. But I got to tell you, I expected more from the leadership at NASCAR than to turn its back on Donald Trump, who's only trying to stem the tide of deadly poison flowing into the body of this country. If NASCAR is siding with the illegal aliens, then I've got to ask my friends out there in radio land whether or not they want to side with NASCAR, which is helping to bring about the slow, strangulating death of the United States of America. My friends, it's real truth. Like it or not. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source of certified organic, no GMO, roasted chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948. Or go to HappyHens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At HappyHens.biz, we love HappyHens.biz. So call us at 303-829-5948. Riell Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities as well as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Riell Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplacesolar.com.
Nutritional balancing by GoHealthyNet.com will expertly assist you in optimizing your metabolism, teach you safe detoxification techniques, and help you rebuild your health. I need to bring a Dr. Wilson practitioner specializes in programs and resources that will assist you in repairing your health using scientific methods. If you have fatigue, stress, pain, cravings, inflammation, negative emotions, and adverse reactions, you need to get nutritional balancing at GoHealthyNet.com. That's GoHealthyNet.com. GoHealthyNet.com.
friends, I got a plan. I'm thinking of starting to watch NASCAR just so that I can stop watching NASCAR. Item from the Economic Collapse blog. What I'm about to share with you is quite stunning. A well-respected financial expert that correctly predicted the last two stock market crashes is now warning that we are right on the verge of the next one. John Hussman is a former professor of economics and international finance at the University of Michigan, and the information in his latest weekly market comment is staggering. Since 1970, there have only been a handful of times when the combination of market signals that Hussman uses have indicated that a major market peak has been reached. In 1972, 2000, 2007, each of those peaks was followed by a dramatic stock market crash. Now, for the first time since the last financial crisis, all four of those signals appeared once again during the week of July 17th. If Hussman's analysis is correct, this could very well mean that the next great stock market crash in the United States is imminent. Unquote. Thank you, Obama voters. Item from the End of the American Dream blog. Thanks to the quote-unquote Obama recovery, the rate of home ownership in the United States has fallen to the lowest level in 48 years. The percentage of Americans who own a home is widely considered to be a key indicator of the health of the middle class, and we've just learned that during the second quarter of 2015, that number dropped from 63.7% to 63.4%. It is now the lowest that it's been since 1967. Unlike a lot of other government economic statistics, this one is fairly difficult to manipulate. Either someone owns a home or they do not. And what the home ownership rate is telling us is that the percentage of Americans that can qualify for a mortgage has been falling dramatically. Unquote. Once again, thank you to Barack Obama and those who voted for him. Item from Jihad Watch. This is an executive summary from Professor Ephraim Inbar, the Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies. This is his executive summary. I'm quoting from it, and here it is. The very bad agreement reached between Western powers and Iran underscores the weakness of the United States, grants Iran nuclear legitimacy, spurs nuclear proliferation in the region, bolsters Iran's ability to project force and support terrorism, changes the balance of power in the region in favor of Iran, and brings the U.S. into sharp conflict with Israel, leading perhaps to an Israeli military strike on Iran. There are at least 6 significant and immediate bad results from the agreement reached between the Western powers and Iran. Number 1, America the weak. The way in which the negotiations were conducted underscored the weakness of the United States. The Obama administration was willing to offer almost unlimited concessions to the skillful Iranian negotiators, ignoring all its own deadlines and red lines. It's clear that President Obama was desperate for a deal in order to leave office with a quote-unquote legacy. While Washington congratulates itself on a quote successful result, what counts is the perception of the countries in the region. Alas, all countries in the region can only conclude that America is indeed weak. America has capitulated to Iran. Let's stop here for a moment, my friends. This analysis is spot on. It's exactly right. America has always been a weak negotiator. Never was it more important for America to be a strong negotiator. And who did we send up to bat? One of the weakest presidents on record, Barack Hussein Obama. We have a deal that not only isn't worth the paper it's written on, but is worse than the paper it's written on. America needs to be strong. America is no longer strong because we don't have strong leadership. America should not be capitulating, surrendering to Iran. America should be devastating Iran, destroying and obliterating Iran. Not only to end its nuclear threat, but to send that message to the jihad world that your plans for global hegemony have ended. That's what a strong leader would have done. It's what America would have done. Except for the millions of people who wanted to be cool by voting for the first black president, or otherwise who wanted a free cell phone. Item from Fox News. Syria's bloody civil war has brought the country's largest number of refugees and asylum seekers to the United States in a decade, and thousands more are expected in 2006. But with the influx comes mounting concerns over whether the Obama administration can properly vet them and keep out those with terror ties seeking to exploit the system. Lawmakers are worried that not only is Syria the headquarters of the Islamic State, but that the country's state of chaos makes screening refugees that much harder. Stop it! My friends, don't worry for a minute that screening of refugees is going to be hard. It's not. For the simple reason that there will be no screening of refugees. What screening? Who's screening? Read the headlines day to day. No one is keeping track of the human sludge that is flowing into this country. As a matter of fact, the more criminals, terrorists, miscreants, lowlives can be brought into the United States, the happier Barack Hussein Obama is. It is no accident that over the course of his presidency, the United States has been crippled, weakened in a number of almost every way you can think of. And bringing in terrorists from third world countries, especially Syria, is one of the most obvious and above board and blatant ways that Obama is sabotaging the United States of America. My friends, I'm doing all I can do to fight this. I go on the air 4 hours a week and I yell like an idiot. What are the people in Washington, D.C. who have the real power? What are they doing to prevent this? And if someone who's running for president, Donald Trump, stands up and says we need to do something to prevent this, he is immediately set upon by the dogs of PC, including the idiots at NASCAR. Item from the Blaze. The University of New Hampshire has released a bias-free language guide to help students navigate the quote-unquote complicated task of language. The extensive guide published to the public university's website identifies, quote, problematic and outdated words and offers less offensive alternatives. As originally reported on by Campus Reform, that lengthy list of words includes American, mothering, fathering, Caucasian, foreigners, homosexual, and healthy, among others. Universities are places to look at the world in new ways, the guide states. As a university organization, we care about the life of the mind. We offer this guide as a way to promote discussion and facilitate creative and accurate expression. Stop! That's a lie! What are they doing but helping to ban words? How does banning words facilitate discussion? If anything, it can only inhibit discussion. Whom do they think they're kidding, aside from innocent, naive, ignorant college students? The guide claims that using the word American is problematic, as it can either be taken to only refer to North America or can provide the assumption that the United States is the only country on both continents. Students are encouraged to avoid terms like mothering or fathering so as to, quote, avoid gendering a non-gendered activity. Similarly, students are encouraged to use the phrase other sex instead of opposite sex, and children who are gender non-conforming as opposed to girly or a tomboy. My friends, hang on one second. I may need to hurl. All right, I'm okay. I'm back. The words obese and overweight should be replaced with people of size, according to the guide. Obese is the medicalization of size, and overweight is arbitrary, the guide states. For example, standards differ from one culture to another. Note, fat, a historically derogatory term, is increasingly being reclaimed by people of size and their allies, yet for some it's a term that comes from pain. The word healthy is also problematic and should be replaced with non-disabled. There you go, Vault. Mentally ill, quote unquote, is encouraged to be replaced with, quote, person with a psychiatric disability. and the word midget should be replaced with someone of short stature. When it comes to illegal aliens versus undocumented immigrants, the latter is preferred, although still problematic, as it, quote, lacks recognition of the person's humanity first. Instead, students should use the terms person seeking asylum or refugee, unquote. My friends, anyone who reads this guide may himself or herself find themselves seeking an asylum. And if he does, he'll be right in the rubber room next to the morons who wrote this trash. Item from Justice.gov. A member of Congress and 4 of his associates were indicted today for their roles in a racketeering conspiracy involving several schemes that were intended to further the political and financial interests of the defendants and others by, among other tactics, misappropriating hundreds of thousands of dollars in federal, charitable, and campaign funds. First name on the list, Congressman Chaka Fattah, Sr., 58, of Philadelphia, born Arthur Davenport. Item from WKYC.com, Dateline, Painesville, Ohio. Alleged shooter Juan Emmanuel Razzo was arraigned this afternoon in Painesville Municipal Court. Judge Michael Cicconetti set his bond at $10 million and set Monday for a preliminary hearing. Razzo was charged with attempted murder in the shooting of a woman who was walking on the Greenway Corridor bike path with 2 children. She was shot in the left arm and treated at Tri-Point Medical Center. Prosecutors in the Lake County Sheriff's Office said at the arraignment that they were expecting to further charge Razzo with the attempted rape in Concord of a 14-year-old girl, the murder of Margaret Peggy Kostelnik in her home in Ravenna Road, and with shooting at law enforcement officers when they tried to apprehend him Monday afternoon. Prosecutors say the sheriff's deputies stated in court that Razzo, quote, gave a full confession to deputies, unquote. My friends, take a guess. Is this piece of trash here in America legally or illegally? Just one guess. Item from KRGV.com. Border Patrol agents confirmed that they've seen a slight increase in the number of people illegally crossing the border. Along the Rio Grande River, anticipation begins to set in for Border Patrol agents for the possibility of a second wave. We're planning, the Border Patrol is certainly planning, Rio Grande Valley Acting Sector Chief Raul Ortiz said. They said they're still well below last year's surge. Apprehensions are 48% lower than last fiscal year. We've apprehended about 118,000 people this year, said Ortiz, yet we're still the busiest sector in the country, unquote. My friends, here's a recommendation. And I realize I'm only a white male from Brooklyn, so you're not expecting anything really bright, but here we go. Instead of having 118,000 people enter this country illegally, and by the way, I think that's a low number. And they're not all Mexicans, by the way, so don't give me any crap about racism. They come from a variety of third world countries. Instead of 118,000 people entering this country illegally, what do you say we shoot dead the first person coming across the border? Believe me, the rest will turn around and hightail it. Item from the BBC. A man charged with trying to buy 500 grams of ricin over the internet has appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court. Mohammed Amer Ali, 31 of Prescott Road, Liverpool, is accused of trying to buy 5 vials of the deadly chemical over the dark web for 325 British pounds. My friends, unquote. The only reason I mention this is because we're very lucky in the United States that we don't have any Muslims here, because if they did, they might, like Muhammad Ali, might try to get vials of deadly chemicals to use in, I suppose, terror attacks. Fortunately, we don't have any Muslims here, so we don't have to worry. I'm sorry, what's that? We do have Muslims here? Oh, crap. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back.
There was a man sent from God whose name was John. This man came you got for my name. But I tell you what, I'm taking the temperature of America. And there's fever. And America's wild about freedom. Sundays, 2 to 5 on 1360 Orion.
An emergency preparedness plan for your home, car, school, and office is a must. Knowing how to store water safely, survive extreme temperature changes, provide reliable shelter, first aid, and sanitation is critical. Knowing where to get the best lights, radios, and other supplies is easy. First Survival, located at 3366 Up Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing realistic preparedness supplies at affordable prices. Stop by online or call 303-781-0343, 866-781-0343.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities as well as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
Guys, welcome back. It's business as usual. Howard Riell, Real Truth, doing what I do. Thank God someone's doing it. Item from the Daily Beast. There is a 2-month gap in Hillary Clinton's emails that coincides with violence in Libya and the employment status of a top Clinton aide, Huma Abedin. Among the approximately 2,000 emails that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has released from her private account, there is a conspicuous 2-month gap. There are no emails between Clinton and her State Department staff during May and June of 2012, a period of escalating violence in Libya leading up to the September 11 attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi that left 4 Americans dead. A State Department spokesman told the Daily Beast that for the year 2012, only those emails related to the security of the consulate or to the U.S. diplomatic presence in Libya were made public and turned over to a House committee investigating the fatal Benghazi assault. But if that's true, then neither Clinton nor her staff communicated via email about the escalating dangers in Libya. There were 3 attacks during that 2-month period, including one that targeted the consulate. That 2-month period also coincides with a senior Clinton aide obtaining a special exemption that allowed her to work both as a staff member to the secretary and in a private capacity for Clinton and her husband's foundation. The Associated Press has sued to obtain emails from Clinton's account about the aide Huma Abedin. Unquote. My friends, Huma Abedin is a Muslim woman married to Anthony Weiner, the disgraced former state senator in New York, the guy who was taking all the naked selfie pictures and then flirting with girls online. She also, I have read, I just mentioned this yesterday, also has a family with ties to questionable Islamic organizations. Wink, wink. But I understand Huma Abedin and Hillary Clinton work closely together. Very closely. Item from the New York Post. Hillary Clinton put part of Bergdorf Goodman on lockdown on Friday to get a $600 haircut at the swanky John Barrett salon. A source said staff closed off one side of Bergdorf's so Hillary could come in privately to get her hair done. An elevator bank was shut down so she could ride up alone, and she was styled in a private area of the salon. Other customers didn't get a glimpse. History was later seen with a new feathered hairdo. Unquote. Yeah. Thing about Hillary is she's just one of the guys. She's an ordinary person, just like you and me. Common everyday America probably shops at Kmart, right? Well, that's what she's hoping you're stupid enough to believe. Anyone who has them shut down Bergdorf so they can spend $600 on a haircut and then look like dog food anyway is not someone we want as president. Item from the Free Thought Project, Dateline, Oklahoma City. A former Valley Brook police officer, Courtney Schlink, 21, is locked up and facing accusations remarkably similar to those faced by former Oklahoma City police officer Daniel Holtzclaw. Schlink was arrested Tuesday afternoon by Oklahoma City police officers and is in the Oklahoma County Jail on a number of felony charges. She was arrested on 33 complaints, 16 rape complaints, 8 oral sodomy complaints, 1 burglary complaint, and 8 indecent or lewd acts with a child under 16 complaints. Similarly, Holtzclaw is currently facing 36 charges after being accused of sexually assaulting 13 women while on parole. The former cop faces 36 charges, including lewd exhibition, forcible oral sodomy, felony rape, and sexual battery stemming from incidents that occurred while he was on duty in 2013 and 14, according to News 9. Unquote. My friends, the police seem to be having just a wingding of a time in Oklahoma City, allegedly. Item from Jihad Watch. The FBI has arrested the man who allegedly wanted to detonate a bomb at a Florida beach and attack police at their homes in what authorities describe as an ISIS-inspired terror attack, officials said. Harlem Suarez, 23, of Key West, Florida, has been charged with attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction in the United States. Stop. Muslim. Weapon of mass destruction in the United States. You should be thinking to yourselves, what the hell is law enforcement doing allowing this nexus of forces to come together right where we live? Well, here's Robert Spencer's commentary. He's the one who puts out the Jihad Watch blog. Here's what Robert Spencer, former guest several times here on Real Truth, by the way, here's what he says, I quote, Harlem Suarez is presumably a convert to Islam. Like many other converts to Islam, he has the idea that his commitment to his new religion requires him to commit treason. Quote, we will destroy America and divide it into two. We will raise our black flag on top of your White House and any president on duty, unquote. This is, according to the FBI and the Obama administration, a total misunderstanding of Islam that has nothing to do with the genuine article. Still, where did Harlem Suarez learn it? Are authorities simply going to take the local mosque's word for it that they never knew him or hardly knew him or threw him out or whatever they say this time? If no mosques in the U.S. are teaching things like this, where are people like Harlem Suarez and so many others getting it? If they were all, quote, radicalized on the internet, why was what they learned at the local mosque not sufficient to withstand the appeal of that radicalization? And here's another question, this one for the cowardly appeasers who insist that we should respect Muslims and not provoke them or poke them in the eye by doing things like standing up for freedom of speech. What if Harlem Suarez had succeeded? What if he had cooked Americans in cages, or had he wanted to? Would you be casting about for some way in which the victims provoked the poor dear and counseling further submission and surrender? Come to think of it, you probably would. Unquote. Item, an excerpt from Anthony Esselin's new book, Life Under Compulsion. I quote, I have sometimes wished that the thought police would get around to issuing a handy list of things to which we are supposed to give our vocal assent. It's hard to smother your common sense, ignore your history and the evidence of your eyes, and to turn reason into intellectual pretzels. All that requires a good deal of self-suppression. The task would be made a little easier if we could be informed beforehand what to think. We are plebeians, after all, and can't be expected to perform the mental gymnastics of our patrician masters. But since they've not come up with such a list, and since if the truth be known, they themselves are often reduced to catching up with the latest rectitudes, I've decided to provide one here below. Thou shalt not call an unmarried woman miss. Thou shalt not feed thy children cupcakes. Thou shalt not think that women should not be soldiers. Thou shalt recycle thy bottles. Thou shalt not speak about God in a public school. Thou shalt not say that the 10 Commandments are commandments. Thou shalt not speak ill of any culture with the following exceptions: American, British, medieval, Christian, and Catholic. Thou shalt not speak well of those. Thou shalt not laugh at certain jokes. Thou shalt not vote for a conservative if thou canst find one. Thou shalt not say that a man is biologically incapable of marrying another man. Thou shalt not decline to march in the following parades. Thou shalt not have anything to do or say about popes and priests. Thou shalt not say what you believe unless it's approved by pundits on television. Thou shalt not say that contemporary music is ugly and banal. Thou shalt not shop. Okay, we'll stop here, my friends. Look for it online. You'll find it, read it, share it, and then cry about it because it's killing us. More real truth to come. All right, guys, this is where I sign off Facebook. I'll be on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio, and on YouTube. Look for the video, share the hell out of it, do your best to get the word out. Hasta luego.